The Gulf Coast Growth Show is sponsored by Chevron Pasadena Refinery and is an extension of the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region, where our mission is to market and grow a vibrant regional economy.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gulf Coast Growth Show. I'm your co-host, Zeke Smith, sitting in for our host and tiny captain, Jason Lee, who's out this week. Wishing Jason well. And with us today, very special guest, Michael Richter, the Executive Director of the Construction and Maintenance Education Foundation, and new title, which we'll get into in a bit, Interim Chapter President for the ABC Greater Houston Chapter. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you,
Zeke. Welcome back, right?
Yes.
Right.
I was here about 4 years ago. Jason and I had to do it online because of COVID, so it's been a while, but thank you for having me back.
You bet. Glad to have you, buddy. Glad to have you. So lots of good stuff to get into today, as usual. Lots of good stuff going on at both CMEF and ABC.
Yes.
But before we dive into that, can we just get a little background on who Michael Richter is, where you're from, how you got here and into this role, if you don't mind?
Depends on how far you want to go back.
Okay. It's your show, buddy. We're just here.
Well, when it comes to construction and my passion these days, it's always been my passion. I can tell you that I come from a family of people involved in the construction industry. I had two grandfathers that were heavy into it. My father was heavy into it. My grandfather designed and custom built many custom homes around Lake Livingston back in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
That was on my dad's side. My grandfather on my mother's side built bridges and skyscrapers in Detroit, Michigan back in the day. Okay. And then my dad kind of learned from both of them because he got married very young. And he also had a long history of mechanics, and he was a welder and so all kinds of things. So I got to learn from three great men very early on. And I was going to work with my dad during summer vacations and spring break and Christmas breaks and weekends because he worked, 6 or 7 days a week.
Sure.
But I was, no taller than this table. And I would go there and play in the dirt. And then he taught me how to sweep a broom with the broom and do it correctly, the correct way to sweep. And then go from there. And then by the time I was 13, I wanted some fancy clothes to look cool in school. And so we didn't have that much money. So I had to go work for a plumber. And so I dug ditches. And I was very, very, very fortunate to work for somebody. This was a family friend who was a plumber.
All right.
Very fortunate to work for somebody that did not care that he had somebody to dig ditches so he could throw pipe in and cover it up, get an inspection, and move on. He had a passion for teaching, and I was just a kid.
Sure.
And he taught me everything. He taught me why this fitting, why this angle, why that depth, why this pipe, why this, everything. And so because of that, I was blessed. By the time I was 16, I had banked enough hours working for this guy that I went and got my plumbing license in Austin at the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners. So I was a journeyman at 16.
Wow.
Then I found out if you held that for 1 year, you go back and get your master license. So I went back 1 year later, taking my master license, and they refused to give it to me. I had to argue with them. But there was no rule that said a 17-year-old kid could not take this test. And so finally they let me take it, and I passed with 71%, and I was the youngest master licensed plumber in the state of Texas. A year later, I got tired of plumbing. I hated it, and I moved on to general contracting.
All right.
So I kind of got into that field for a long time. Moved out to California, started a couple businesses out there. That's where politics really hit me and how a regulation can really impact a business. Came back to Texas. I got into education while I was out there, vocational education. Oversaw programs that were not only vocational, but degree programs as well,
Okay.
at several colleges across the country. Then made our way back here. I met my wife out there. She was born and raised in California.
Okay.
Came back here with our first child. I thought by the time I got her here, she wanted to go right back to sunny California. Nope. She loves Texas. She's never going back. She wants to stay right here. She loves the people. Since then, we've had our second child. They are now 8 and 10. And because of my background, what I've done in the past 8.5 years with the foundation, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I'm assuming, it all kind of connects. It's just kind of full circle for me, starting when I was no taller than this table right here. So
Sure.
I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited of what has brought me to be here, and I'm very excited about what the future might bring.
Right. Awesome. Great background. It wasn't too long. Did great.
No,
and good on the wife for getting here as soon as she could. Right. She had to hitch her wagon to a Texan to get here. We'll take it.
She didn't know what she was missing. If she could have got here sooner, she would have.
That's right. That's
I
right.
promise
As they
you.
all say from California.
Yep.
And just shoot.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's talk about CMEF. So that's the role you've been in for some time. Construction and Maintenance Education Foundation. Tell us what it is, what it does, what you specialize in, so for those that don't know.
Okay. CMEF is the educational affiliate or the educational arm of ABC, Associated Builders and Contractors of Greater Houston. The way I kind of always talk about it is ABC is known for four major pillars. It's safety, politics, networking, which is business development. And then the fourth pillar is workforce development and education. We're all aware that there's a shortage of skilled labor out there. I use that word skilled. It's been around for a long, long time. I think it was talked about when I was in diapers, but it's never been solved. But if it had not been for the efforts up till now, it would be a lot worse.
Sure.
So that fourth pillar in this area, in this region, think about it, Greater Houston, where we're at, is a major, major thing to accomplish. And it's a lot of work to conquer. So for that reason, CMEF broke off to be its own foundation from ABC.
Okay.
And that was our main focus, is to take care of that fourth pillar in this area. So we do training programs, we do workforce development programs, we try to attract people into the industry. We take the existing incumbent workers and we try to upskill them to make sure they're on a constant career path. And the way we do this is by so many different means. When I talk to people from time to time and CMEF comes up and somebody says, well, what does CMEF do? What do they do over there? Somebody always jumps in and says, well, they do training. And then the conversation's over. That's not it. That's just a small piece.
Sure.
So the foundation now is a campus of 4 facilities over in LaPorte, not far from here. We train on pretty much every craft you can think of. We utilize the NCCER, the National Center for Construction Education and Research, well known across the country. It was born and raised right here in Houston, Texas, by industry for industry. So the craft is built by the people that are actually know what they're talking about,
Sure.
What I say. So we utilize that curriculum. There's portable, stackable credentials. And so our facility, we have 4 buildings, but it doesn't stop there. If we have overflow, we have to have partners. We currently are partnered with 10 community colleges locally in Houston. Wow. Main colleges that we are partnered with is San Jacinto Central, right down the street here.
Right.
Then there's North. Then there's Lee over in College. Then you have the Houston Community College, a group over there, and so forth and so on. So when CMEF fills up, or if we have a student that's better to be out in Lee and wants to go out there, our partners will pick them up, but they're still our students.
Sure.
And so we have a fantastic relationship with the colleges. So if there's a craft or something that we can't do at CMEF, for example, I won't do welding at CMEF. It's not cost effective, but the colleges can do that. It's very cost effective for us. So we have all these partnerships for the training side. But however, that's just for the incumbent workers. That's for attracting the unemployed. We really like to partner with our veterans and get them in there and get them trained and employed.
Right.
We like to go even younger. So we have a very robust high school program in which CMEF will sponsor the programs in various high schools and their CTE programs and partner with the CTE directors and have the core programs of the NCCR and some craft programs in the high school. I call it bringing shop class back.
That's right.
Because when I was going to high school, my favorite class was shop class. Yep. By far my favorite class. And I heard that when I was in California for 15, 16 years, it kind of went away.
It did.
And then it's slowly coming back.
Now they call it labs.
We call it lab. I like shop class because I'm old school.
That's right.
But yeah, bring the shop class back.
That's right.
So right now we're currently sponsoring about 62 high schools. It fluctuates from 62 to 66 sometimes. 62 high schools in the greater Houston area. Wow. What that means is that we have 2 people that are dedicated to that program at CMEF. And they'll go out and they'll make sure that the instructors are trained, certified by NCCR. They will audit their facilities, their labs, make sure they're up to speed for standards, all these things. And then they will monitor the progress of all the students.
Right.
Everything is uploaded, directly now from the high school. It used to be paperwork. We have to send it to us and we'd have to scan. And now everything's automatic.
Systems,
yeah, but we oversee that whole process.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, they have to have jobs. Well, we have connection with employers, not just at CMEF, but also with our relationship with ABC.
Of course.
So the end goal is to, not just to train them and wish them the best of luck. we want them to come into the industry. Right. So that's just kind of a nutshell what CMEF does. There's so much more that I could see you talk all day about CMEF. Sure. But when it comes to workforce development, which obviously you and I are passionate about, that's kind of a summary of what I can think.
No, it's good. And something to add, I think the apprenticeship. I've been so impressed. And this Apache has an internal apprenticeship, and so we partner with you guys a lot on just events and attracting folks to what we do, and bringing awareness to the power of apprenticeship in this state and in this region and in our industry. So something I thought, was worth noting is you have 16 now registered apprenticeship programs under CMEF with the Department of Labor.
With the Department of Labor, we currently have 16 programs.
That's impressive.
We have those 16 because those are the 16 that are in demand.
Sure.
I will say, let me back up. There was 15 that were in demand. It went to 16 because there was a great partner of ABC, a great company They serve on the board. They've always supported us, and they wanted to add another one. And so just for them, we added the other one.
Nice.
I say that for a reason. CMEF is not limited to the 16. We're not limited to what's in our catalog or anything else. I've always said this. No matter what the industry needs, if you need training in some specific area that we currently do not provide, we will provide it. We have the ability and we have the resources to build a program from scratch, whether it's apprenticeship or non-apprenticeship. Either way, I can get it all the way to DOL and get it approved. So as I've said in many, many meetings, you want me to have a class on how to build snow cone makers? You let me know, and we'll have it ready in about 6 weeks.
Yeah, so you really mastered the process. I think we've talked about this before. Is like you figured out the process, you figured out some points of contact, who to get in touch with, and how to get things moving.
Yes.
Very key with government entities. No offense, but the other thing is, I can attest. I literally just asked you, I think a week and a half ago, about, hey, this new member's looking for scissor lift training. You're like, we got it. So just, even the ancillary off to the side thing that somebody may need that they may not know about. So
yes,
I think it's important to reach out to CMEF and ask the question as opposed to assume it's a yes or no type deal, right? Yeah. And like you said, if you need something, chances are you can build it if it's not already there.
Yes, and I'd be remiss if I did not mention the support of CMEF is primarily by the cents per hour program. Is primarily by donations. We have a group of contractors that heavily support CMEF,
right?
And because that in retraction, what they get back from that is a substantial discount. Tuition on full semester of 16-week courses that might cost $1,000, $1,500, depending on the craft. They'll pay a very small portion of that because they're in this program where they just donate per cents per hour. That being said, there's other ways that companies have donated. You mentioned the scissor lift. We have a partnership with JGL, and they're a big partner with ABC. And so it was through that partnership that we were able to get this brand new scissor lift.
Right.
We were able to send our instructor across country, get trainings to be certified to train on that. That's a great partnership at minimal cost. We have a crane training program where we have 3.5 acres in the back. We don't pay for that. We have a great landlord, Danny Earp, for those industries, lets us use that property. And Norm Smith Rentals supplies the cranes.
Yeah.
So it's not just writing a check for cents per hour and that alone, but it's all these other ways that people can support the foundation because we are a community-based, education center. So,
and using your language there, community-based educational kind of provider. Do you mind talking about the exciting kind of project that's happening with Exxon in Baytown that's happening? So I've been fortunate enough that you roped me in to help out with that in some capacity. I don't know how much I'm helping, but I'm excited to be a part of it, and certainly a collaboration with ABC members, but also with one of our favorite Economic Alliance members, Exxon Mobil, out of Baytown. We just had Kim Haas, the plan manager, on the show, I think, so with Chad. So that talks about the Exxon CMEF partnership, what's coming possibly. You don't have to get into all the details, but I think it's something exciting that we can kind of let the audience know about.
Yeah, sure. I think the cat's out of the bag by now.
Sure.
Exxon Mobil has partnered with CMEF, and they are applying for a grant with the DOE. The final amount is yet to be determined. But regardless of whether they got that or not, they were very impressed on what the foundation does. And they wanted to move forward and build a facility in Baytown, close to where their offices are over there right now. And I mean, build it from scratch. And so they've come and toured our facilities. And they met with us on average every 2 weeks for a while. And don't sell yourself short. You contributed a lot by being a part of this group. So thank you for your support on this.
Sure.
So you know the background of this as well. Lots of questions on design. They walked through our facilities. When they walked through our facilities, I constantly told them this is something we built over the years. So we had
piece together.
Yeah, we kind of pieced it together. So let's not just kind of like rebuild this over in Baytown. Let's kind of take the best of this.
Sure.
And so that's what they've done. And they got a great design team at Butler Cohen. And Butler Cohen will only use ABC members to do the project because we're one type family. Right. And so Butler Cohen did the design. You were part of this whole process, and lots of questions, a lot of walkthroughs, and just a great team. And this facility is now going to be built over in Baytown, due to be open for business on January 1, 2026, if things go well.
Sure. They
just got through the first round of negotiations with the DOE, and as of June 1st, they're on the second round from here to December. All is looking well. I'm very optimistic about it. The focus, however, is on what CMEF does for the community.
Sure.
That's the key. That's what got everybody's attention. It wasn't just, let's go open a facility and train it and treat it like a business. It wasn't that at all. This is a community approach.
Sure.
And in this facility, they want us to do exactly what we're doing now. They're going to support us, but we're also going to be able to grow into other things. What that is right now, I don't know. Again, what the industry tells us to do, what they need is what we'll facilitate. So it's a very, very exciting project. Not only they funding everything on the build from ground up, the cranes, but every piece of equipment inside, every computer screen, everything to function as a business, and then in the future, hopefully cover the overhead costs for this other project. So we'll have CMEF times 2 in the near future. But again, it says a lot for the partnership with the community out there, the industrial, but we also have great partnership with commercial.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot about what CMEF and the industry, construction in this region has been doing, that Exxon spoke up, stepped up. Not that they don't always take the lead in some of these initiatives, but that they stepped out and said, hey, we want to do business with you, want to do this project with you, of all the things that are out there, all the other organizations that you've chosen from. I think it says a lot. It says a lot about your leadership. So congrats on that. And I'm looking forward to staying in the know and in the project and seeing it come to fruition at the, hopefully in 2026.
So 2026.
No pressure, Butler Cohen. Let's get that done. Right? Okay. So I did mention briefly the interim chapter president title. So let's talk about that. So they had some leadership changes at ABC chapter, and you've been involved in some capacity with ABC and CMEF for a long time. Yeah. And so you were asked by the executive committee and the board of directors of ABC to step into an interim role in ABC. So how's that going? You're getting your feet wet. You're understanding that side of the business. Obviously, you've seen it for a long time, but not been in that chair. So how's that going?
It's going very well. It's a lot for right now. It's about three and a half weeks in. So if it was anybody, it would still be a lot.
Sure.
It would still be a lot, especially with the foundation. We got some changes over the foundation at the same time.
Right.
So it's kind of like a perfect storm. So keeping up with all, it's been a little busy, but I like busy. I like a challenge. I think there's a huge potential with ABC. And where I come from, being the partner that CMEF has been with ABC as the educational affiliate, I've been in this role for 8.5 years. I think I'm using that to my advantage to the full.
Sure.
Because I have sat in every ABC board meeting for 8.5 years, not to be an active participant, but basically just to participate with CMEF business. But I've been listening to these conversations for so long, and I've listened to the challenges and the successes and the rewards that they've had over the years. So I'm not coming into this blindly, I guess is what I'm saying.
Sure.
And so also my background in construction and with workforce development, this is a challenge that I'm actually really enjoying right now, I must say.
Awesome.
I must say, I really am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the prospects that are ahead of us. We have a great support system. The executive committee and the board of directors are fantastic at ABC. Fantastic. I've always said there's been a mutual respect between the CMEF board and myself. That's always been there with the ABC board and the executive team. You need that to make things run properly. And there's such a strong respect there. It's very supportive. The industry is supportive. So I've gotten a lot of phone calls in the last 3.5 weeks, all the way up to the national level and the state level within the ABC family. People offering support, and I'm going to take them up on that, because why not? When somebody wants to offer resources and they've been doing their roles for 10, 15, 20 years sometimes,
right?
I will take advantage of it. Experience is the best thing to take advantage of it. So far so good.
Awesome. Well, we wish you luck with that. Speaking of ABC, any big events, things we want to talk about, ABC or CMEF related coming up? I know CMEF in the summer sometimes can be a slower season from an event standpoint, but what about ABC stuff? What's coming up? Big news, things we want to tell the audience about.
We got some things coming up. This Thursday is casino night, and anybody can look on the website, abchouston.org, some different events that are coming up. That's coming up this Thursday. I will say for CMEF in October is a big event for us. That's the Construction Careers Expo.
Right.
That's at the Pasadena Fairgrounds. We do that every year. We're talking about where 400 plus high school students from different districts around the Houston area will come there, and there'll be about 200 volunteers. And basically, it's a day of construction. It's a day of walking around, learning about business, learning about construction, hands-on activities, one after another all day long. And then we serve them lunch, and we have some surveys at the end of the day. We've always had great results with that event. There's a breakfast coming up next month for ABC. This is one of our big ones, and it's focused on safety. Remember, that's one of the pillars of ABC.
Sure.
And there'll be some awards given out for those that take safety seriously, because it is a moral obligation. And I invite anybody that wants to be a guest at this event to reach out to me. If you don't already know about ABC and not familiar with it, I like to bring guests to these events, because that's a start to kind of see the networking piece, because you got hundreds of people in the room. You'll listen to the safety piece, because that's what this event's about.
Right.
And then you'll have conversations about the other two pillars as well. It's a little bit of a preview.
Sure.
And then I just want to touch on this as a past event. It's not a future event, although it will be happening again in March. But last March, we had our national convention for ABC. In that was the National Craft Championship, where chapters from all over the country send their best of their best to compete in many different crafts. I like to brag on this because they go back to the high school students. Every single year, we try to send at least 5 or 6 competitors to this program. Of those 5 or 6, we try to have at least 2 or 3 from the high schools. Year over year over year, we brought back a winner who's a high school student. These are 17-year-old kids that have to go with chaperones because they're so young, competing with the best of the best around the country and coming home with a medal. I have a whole wall of them at the foundation. So it says a lot for the high schools, the directors, the teachers, and the partnership with ABC and CMEF.
Yeah, and having been witness to that, it is an awesome event.
Yes.
And next year's is in Vegas, so that's an easy one too. An easy sell, I think. An easier sell.
Maybe
not great for the 17-year-olds going, but
I'm nervous about that one.
The rest of us all have a good time.
Yeah.
All right, so as we hit the home stretch, what about personal highlights? You mentioned your wife, so I think you got a pretty good milestone coming up with her. I don't know how she's hung around this long, but talk about some personal highlights you got coming up.
I am very, very, very fortunate. I have a very beautiful wife. Her name's Natalie, and 2 beautiful children, and we are going to be celebrating our 14th wedding anniversary next week. So that it's we've been together a long time, but the accomplishments personally within our family is something that we are very, very proud of. And
sure.
I couldn't be more proud of my entire family and where we're at. And I think family is everything.
Yeah.
And it's the basis for everything that we do. It's why I do what I do.
Sure.
That's why I get up every morning. It's for my family. So yeah, Natalie, I know she's watching this. Happy anniversary.
Nice. Yeah, it will come out hopefully around the anniversary time. And I will, I'll speak for the other men that know Natalie and met her that you've, by far outkicked your coverage on that. So congratulations on that one.
So she'll keep me for a little while, I guess.
Happy anniversary to you. Well, hey guys, it's been a great episode. Mike, this has been great, man. Obviously always good to catch up with and hear about all the great things going on at CMEF and ABC. Yes. So best of luck with all that as we get through the summer and into the fall. Lots of exciting things going on. And obviously as a member of the Gulf Coast, the Economic Alliance, glad to have ABC as kind of a member and a partner in this fight for skilled labor and workforce and making this industry and community better. So glad to have you, buddy.
And you've been fantastic, and I appreciate your support.
No problem. You got it. Well, thanks guys again for another great episode. Thank Mike for his time. Thank you for your time. Until next time, I'm Zeke Smith sitting in for again our tiny captain Jason. We miss you, buddy. We'll see you next week. Have a great week. And don't forget, AlliancePortRegion.com media tab to subscribe all the channels. You can get these faces for radio on YouTube if you want, or you can subscribe where you listen. And so we encourage you to subscribe to all the channels to get this wonderful podcast and pass it on to whoever needs to listen. And by the way, we never do this, but thanks to Mandy, our wonderful producer, and happy belated birthday. She just had her 30th birthday. So congratulations to her. But thanks, guys. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.